All right. We are going to talk about the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. Um, I'm Michelle Copeland.
I'm Matthew Copeland.
And let's just forget first, the reason I wanted to cover this is because, first of all, I was just interested in learning about Tohoku. Um, it's part of Japan. I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was actually a city in Japan. I
Same.
didn't. I didn't actually realize it's a region of Japan. So it's actually like 6 different prefectures all combined together that make up the Tohoku region, and it's like the northern part. Did I say that northern part of Japan?
Yeah, the eastern coast, right?
No, it's actually like the okay. So
Northeastern.
Uh, yeah, well, sort of. It's more just north. So I didn't actually realize too that Japan, the thing I think of as Japan, like the landmass I think of as Japan, is actually not um Japan. Like it's actually called like the main island of Japan.
Yeah,
There's actually different islands of
like
Japan.
Hawaii, like how
Yeah.
there's like Oahu and
Yes.
Maui and
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's
Wait,
called.
I think Oahu is an island. That might be a town, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like I think it's called Honshu. Yeah.
Honshu, yeah.
So Honshu is like the main island of Japan. So it's actually just like the north region of that main island.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So first of all, what?
Well, it was hit from the eastern side. Like it's on the tsunami that we're talking about hit the eastern side. I know you'll get to that,
Yeah.
but like I was right on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the whole of the Tohoku region is there's the northern part of
Gotcha.
Honshu. And so first off, just wanted to talk about like that because I didn't know what that was, and I thought that was really interesting. Another thing about this particular earthquake that caused this tsunami, it was actually the largest earthquake that Japan's ever had. So, and I think it
Wow.
still is to this day. It
Like
was
recorded history.
recorded history.
It's a long time for them.
Yeah.
They've been recording for a while.
Yeah. It was a 9.1 on the Richter scale.
Wow.
Which is, very, very strong.
Super deadly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
How far off the coast was it?
I think it was 15 miles.
Oh, that's really close.
Yeah, so it wasn't far off the coast. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm so sorry. It's 45 miles off the coast.
Okay.
And then it was 15
so
miles.
3 times as far as 15, but
yeah,
that's still pretty close.
Yeah, so it was 45 miles off the coast, but it was 15 miles below the surface.
Oh, okay.
So it was actually pretty deep. And pretty far out, but it was just strong enough. The 9.1 was strong enough that it caused so much destruction. But before we get into the actual disaster itself, I wanted to cover some of the background of Tohoku and kind of what kind of region it is.
Before we go any further, can you have was it one big earthquake, or were there multiple earthquakes spread out? Is that a thing that can happen, or?
I don't know.
I know it's just one big earthquake.
Yeah, it was just one. In this one, it was just the one big one. I know that it, in an earthquake, it causes different waves. Like there's different types of waves. You got your P waves and your S waves and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's I don't know.
I know how earthquakes work, and I know there's an epicenter, but I'm was there multiple epicenters? Or whatever?
As far as I know, it was just the one epicenter.
Cool.
That was right.
I could see that making it really strong if you had
for sure
multiple stretched out along. Anyway.
Yeah. Another reason I wanted to cover it is just because, like you said, Japan has written history for, I can't even, I don't know the details of that, but really long history.
Biblical times.
Yeah. It's very, very historical and very rich culture and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then it was actually, at that time in the 1900s, it was actually the third worst earthquake that the world had seen at that point.
Wow.
So since the 1900s, it was. Yeah.
You know what the first and second one are?
No, I don't. Do you?
No. But that's still crazy though.
Yeah.
I can think of some in my head, but I still don't know if they are. Maybe the tsunami that hit the Indian Ocean, the India one.
Oh yeah. The Indian Ocean one.
Yeah.
That was in 2004 or 2008 or something like that.
Maybe sooner or Yeah, I don't know. Sometime around. It was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
2000, 2010s. I don't know.
The Haitian one was the year before this one. It was in
Was that an
2010.
earthquake or tsunami? Doesn't matter. You're talking about earthquakes.
Earthquake.
Either way.
Right? It was an earthquake.
I think. I know they've been hit by a lot of hurricanes, but
No, because that's the one that displaced everybody, and we actually had a lot of refugees come over. The Haiti one, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Oh my
I mean,
gosh,
they've been hit with so many things. I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, so back into Tohoku. So just the region of Tohoku, I did some research into it in itself, just to see kind of more history about that. So it has six different prefectures, like I was saying. Let me see.
When you say that, is that kind of like counties, like how Oklahoma's counties, like the region of Tohoku?
I would almost say more states,
prefectures, and so that's like their.
It's almost more like
mini regions
they're large.
within the region. We're not talking cities here. We're talking like actual. Like,
yeah, I guess so. You would say like
sort of like counties, sort of like states.
If we're gonna call it, if we're gonna like
just breaking it up into smaller pieces.
Yeah. So if we're gonna be like
that have their own like not political, but like their own. Yeah.
Like governor.
Yeah. Like yeah. Exactly.
So like I would say, I guess you could say Tohoku region is like based off like Oklahoma, and then like I guess the six prefectures could be like counties. Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Everybody has different names. There's like prefectures, there's counties, there's actually there's parishes, there's there's all kinds of it's like French, like French have like I think Louisiana calls theirs, they don't call theirs counties, they call theirs parishes or something like that.
Really?
Oh. I think. You might fact check me on that.
But Tohoku has and I might not say these correctly, but Amori, Akita, Awate, Yamagata, Miyagi, and Fukushima. Miyagi is...
I know Fukushima.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that actually here in a minute. But Miyagi is the largest. It also holds the capital city of the region, which is Sendai.
Okay.
Is not as developed. Well, I wouldn't say it's not as developed as Tokyo, but it isn't. It's like it's more untouched. So like...
Yeah.
Honestly, like after doing research into it, if we ever visited Japan, like that's where I'd want to go.
It's like Seattle versus New York City. I feel like because Seattle is like surrounded by like open area, whereas Tokyo's like the main epicenter of like everything.
Yeah,
the ginormous metropolitan hub, and
whereas
this has at least like a big city, but
okay. So to give you reference, there's 8.6 million people in the region itself.
In the entire region, not
entire
the
region, yeah.
Okay.
Within all 6 of the prefectures.
Yeah, and Tokyo has like they're the highest populated city in the world.
Tokyo is?
Yeah.
Not even a place in China?
No.
Oh wow.
Like this city-wise, it's the most populated, and there's like 38 million. Or once again, fact check me, but like I know they're the most highly populated. Highest populated.
The highest populated.
I don't know. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. But 8.6 million, and then and it actually, so the region itself takes up about 1/5 of Japan's landmass as well.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, so
you mean hold on, Honshu or like the entire
Japan's
island of Honshu?
Total, okay. Yeah, like Japan's total land masses.
Okay, cool.
But they even have like the reason I think is cool, and they actually have something called rice field art. Have you ever seen that before? Like
that on our wall?
Yeah. Not quite like that. That's more like, that's the rice fields and
like the steps.
Yeah, but no, like actually art. They like literally, you know how we have corn mazes?
What are they called?
Corn mazes.
Corn mazes.
Corn mazes?
Yeah, we have corn mazes in Oklahoma, yes.
And they like, if you go up, like with a drone, they can make designs with it.
No, I didn't know that. With the drones?
No. You go up and you can see through a drone the corn maze.
Yes.
The like design.
Yes.
They do the same thing with the rice fields.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That makes sense.
And it's not all of them. It's just like certain ones that they like will actually like do art. And there's some really cool art and stuff.
I didn't know that.
I'll have to show you.
That makes sense though. Like we have corn, they have rice, but we still like making designs.
Yeah.
Crop circles, so to speak.
Yeah. They have a ton of festivals there. They have like a festivals of lights. It kind of reminds me of like Tangled. You know, like the...
Oh, yeah, where they do the
lanterns.
The lanterns, the floating lanterns. Mm-hmm. They do that there?
Yeah. It looks really cool.
Awesome.
And then, for lack of a better word, they have untouched forests, but like if you look at pictures of them, it reminds me of like fairy forest, if that makes sense. Like it looks like
their vegetation looks like fairy, like what you see in like video games or like movies or even anime or something. Cool.
It's more like fairy. I don't know. It's really
beautiful.
Really pretty.
They're really big on their gardening and like making things beautiful, but like just their untouched forests look like that too.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if we ever visit there, I think this is the region I'd want to like go to the most. And it's like populated enough, but not, and it's urban enough that it'd still be with the times, but not like
we could probably see the snow monkeys there too. You know the snow monkeys.
Wait, is that so?
I think this is that region. Yeah.
Is that where they do the
hot springs?
Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's the northernmost region.
One of the biggest things,
or it might be one of the islands above it, but
yeah, one of the biggest things that people visit there is the like it's a snow-capped mountain. So that would make sense.
That's probably where they're at.
That's really cool. It's probably, I'm trying to remember which one is the region. I think it's Amori. Amori. It's Aomori. I think it's Amori. Mm-hmm. I think that's the region that has like the mountains and stuff in it.
Cool. Like
or the prefecture,
the tourist destination too at that.
So yeah, that was a little about more Tohoku and stuff, and just a little background of like, their history and what they have available and stuff. But so back to
there's stuff going on there, even though it's beautiful.
Yes,
there's a lot of 8-point-something million people.
It's happening. Yeah. So about the earthquake we were talking about. So Japan's used to having earthquakes. Because of where they fall on the fault line. Yep. So they actually already had an early warning system in place for earthquakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Which actually helped save a lot of lives for this particular earthquake.
Awesome. They probably didn't have much time to react, though, to be honest, if you think about
no.
Probably when it wasn't that far off the coast.
No, yeah. I mean, they had the earthquake. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. We'll get there. Yeah. But they not only have like the early warning system, but they also have really stringent building codes now. Like any kind of housing.
What did you say? Strict building codes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any kind of like housing or even like complexes or businesses, all of that, they have really like they're very strict on their building, so that's
good
because they know that they're active. Like that they do like. Not all the thing crumbles all the time.
Yeah.
They also their early warning system actually contacts all the factories and stuff because they have a lot of factories around there, and literally stops like assembly lines. So like, and then
if they detect an earthquake, they will.
It'll like turn. From what I understood, it literally is like it's not even like a person's turning it off. It's like it's a mechanical thing that happens.
Awesome.
And it turns it off. And it also stops their high speed trains that they have there.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Even the maglevs.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense because they could break down. I'm like they're floating. How would that affect them? But yeah.
Yeah, and then all of
the bridges themselves. Yeah.
The people of Japan can also like sign up for like a text alert too. So how we kind of get like amber alerts, silver alerts, and like even like tornado weather alerts and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, they have the same kind of system there, but for earthquakes.
Awesome.
And before this particular earthquake happened, scientists did actually they projected an earthquake happening in that region, but they just thought it was going to be a lot smaller. They didn't like picture a tsunami or anything like that. It was just going to be like a lot smaller. So
they didn't know it was a 9.1.
No, before that night, the earthquake actually happened. They knew it was a geological active site, but they didn't think it was going to be that strong. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So then, as the disaster happened, it happened on March 11th at 2:45 in the afternoon. So it lasted 6 minutes.
The earthquake did?
The earthquake itself.
The earthquake event.
Can you imagine?
Or whatever, yeah.
Sitting there for 6 minutes. 9.1 too. Like it's not like when we have fracking.
Well, does it like go up in intensity then go down?
Well, yeah, because I mean, even if you think of like the little earthquakes we've experienced with the fracking and stuff, like it builds a little bit, and then it's
they're not 6 minutes.
No, it builds and then it's it's rattling for a while.
If they are, it only hits that 6 magnitude that we've experienced.
Yeah,
for
which is why
a second or so, but But I feel like does it stay at 9.1 for a long time? Is what I'm saying.
I would assume.
Or does it fluctuate? I'm assuming it fluctuates a bit.
I would assume it fluctuates a little bit, but not a lot. I assume it stays pretty high up there, which is why they have the building codes, I assume, so that they would, they're not sitting there and the buildings aren't just like the buildings sway with movement instead of just like crumbling down.
And we're not seismologists, so we don't have to exactly know that answer.
No.
I'm just curious.
Yeah.
It reached 9.1, but I wonder how long it stays at. If you said it lasted 6 minutes.
I think it's like an average. I want to say, if I remember correctly, the way the Richter scale works is like an average time versus like the time it lasts versus like.
Or did it get above it, and then the average is 9.1? I wonder. We'll have to look it up later. It's not necessarily relevant. We don't. It doesn't.
I feel like we actually covered this, and I'm just having a hard time remembering.
Yeah,
but
9.1 though, regardless, is still insanely high.
Yeah. So then, like I said,
enough to crumble everything essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the earthquake didn't cause as much damage as the tsunami caused. So, like I said, earthquake 45 miles.
It was out that far. It wasn't
being out like that definitely helped in that scenario. But
not the tsunami.
No, and then the tsunami actually showed up 30 minutes later.
Wow.
So
they didn't have much time to react at all then.
No.
That's for sure.
And I even was like thinking, I'm like, can you imagine? Because like how long it takes us to get out the door with the boys, just to go on a normal day. Like,
and how far can you get in 30 minutes in a car? You know what I mean?
Well, especially when everybody is trying to get out.
Yeah, and a lot of people were probably at work if it was at 2:45 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Their time, right? Not our time?
Yeah, 2:45 their time. And it's just like, I can't imagine trying to get the boys out the door, 30 minutes, trying to get as far away as you can. Like, that's just, it's just unheard
working
of.
right on the edge of the coast there.
Yeah. It worked, and it, so.
Or living on the edge either.
It spread, spread across 1,242 miles of the coastline.
Mm-hmm.
So all the way down that like Tohoku region coastline is basically where it covered.
Yeah. Didn't it hit a little bit further south too, though? Like you said, Tokyo.
It didn't. Tokyo definitely got some of the brunt of it, but mainly the Tohoku. And when I say that, like Tohoku and the Tohoku region, like the bottom part of it, and I'm thinking, I can't remember if I think that's Fukushima that's like closer, because then it's the Kanto region, which is where, or Kanto is where Tokyo is, I think. And so like they neighbor each other, those two regions.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's closer to Tokyo than you think.
Yeah. But Japan's not that big.
No.
It's big, but it's not like, so any tsunami it's probably hit a lot of it, if not all of its coast.
Yeah.
How far inland did it go, like the water?
It went inland 154 square miles.
Wow.
Is what I was able to find. Most of it was in Iwate, Miyagi, and then Fukushima. That's which is actually those southern prefectures of the Tohoku region.
Yeah.
But the maximum wave height that I actually got was 130 feet.
Wow.
130 feet.
That's insane.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That'd be terrifying.
Swells or waves?
The major wave.
Yeah, there were waves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was 130 feet.
Good God.
Like that's a wall. That's like stories of a building. Like that's insane. That'd be absolutely terrifying.
Of course.
Actually, here's a picture I took, or I captured, like got from. That's it going inland.
Dang.
And you can see that's like houses and stuff. Like that's not little bitty things. Like
no, huge. Just like pushed it all in.
Yeah. So yeah, it covered a lot,
Turned it into driftwood, so to speak.
After the disaster, let's see. After the disaster, they did 200. They were able to figure out that it was $220 billion in damage.
Wow.
So all the houses and businesses and stuff that flooded was $220 billion. That's
a number I can't even like picture in my head.
No.
Like
it's a sickening
I wonder
number.
what Katrina was. Hurricane Katrina.
True. Yeah. I don't know.
I know it was a lot too, but I feel like 2 billion. I want to say off the top. Once again, fact check. But
220.
Like,
is insane.
That's so much.
And then let's see. Oh, this was a crazy fact. So, main island of Japan, so Honshu, moved 2.4 feet east.
Hold on, say that again.
The whole island, the whole main island moved 2.4 feet east after this.
Wow.
Is that not crazy?
From a 6-minute earthquake.
Yeah. And
all this happened.
The 250 miles of the coastline dropped 2 feet.
Wow.
2 feet. Like, that's crazy. And moved the whole thing 2.4 feet. Like, I was blown away by that.
So powerful.
Like, golly. Like, that's insane.
Update Google Earth.
Yeah. God, can you imagine? Oh, it's awful.
Yeah.
Another crazy part was that not only, so we know the epicenter was right off the coast of Japan, but you got to think it doesn't just move one direction, it moves the other direction too. So it actually came towards the United States.
Right.
And actually caused $31 million in damage in Hawaii.
I was about to say Hawaii would get hit first probably.
Yeah, and then $100 million in California in damage.
Wow. So, it's crazy it actually caused damage.
And I think it was 8 hours or 12 hours later that it hit Hawaii and then California.
Yeah, still had that much energy to cause damage. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Again, like you said, our Earth is crazy when it comes to like how strong it can be.
It's like the Tongan volcano was heard around, like you hear about the volcanoes being heard around the world. Yeah. If they're loud enough. And the shockwaves travel like twice or 3 times around the Earth. Yeah. Like 2 to 3 times, you know what I mean? Like that's insane.
One of the things that they talked about was in Fukushima, which most people know about, is the reactors that happened there.
Yeah, that was like the only thing I heard about really back then.
Yeah.
And I wasn't keeping up with the news as much.
We just had a baby.
And we're younger, in our early 20s. But Fukushima was all over the news.
Yeah, they had
nuclear meltdown.
There's 3 of them that had complete meltdowns and explosions.
3?
Yeah, wow. So here's that bottom picture. Hold on, let me show you here. This bottom picture is that I don't know why Reactor 2.
Yeah, I remember seeing this.
Reactor 2 didn't actually have a meltdown. Or it did. Mm-hmm. There was something that happened. There was a reaction that happened, but it wasn't like a complete meltdown. Like
that's before, 3. Right?
This is after.
That's after?
The 3 of them are just completely gone, and then 2 is still standing.
Oh, the things behind it. I see.
1, 2, and 3. Yeah, and that one's fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they are still actually cleaning up to this day. Yeah. From that, it's still not a clean site.
Don't they keep it near the coast to help keep it cool? Like they use the water from the ocean. Yeah. Yeah.
To keep them cool.
So. Some of them do anyway.
Which is a good thing and a bad thing, obviously, because now, especially in that area, when you have such a geological active area.
And that, right. But that killed, sorry to interrupt, but that blast killed people? Like the Fukushima.
I actually don't know the answer to that.
It was just the tsunami that did?
They're saying, okay, so.
Was there any fallout, or was there an explosion that.
Well, initially, they said, just overall for the whole disaster itself. Yeah. They initially said it was around 18,000 that passed away, which 18,000 people, it's just, that's so sad. And
from the flooding, awful. From the buildings collapsing.
But then there was still
but I'm sure
around 2,500 people missing. Yeah. And that was 2011. And then a report came out in 2021 that they still hadn't found 750 people. But they did confirm that basically 2,000 more had passed away. Wow. So it went up to it's in the 20,000.
So some of that could have been, and probably was, from the Fukushima.
Probably.
Yeah, disaster as
and
well.
It even could have been you get radiation poisoning. So it's it could have just been that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. They could have counted those into the death toll as well. But
later on in 2021, because you can die later from,
But a lot of it was missing people, and they're still missing people, which is insane to me. Which you sadly would assume
they passed
away. But
at this point,
which would put it into the 21,000.
But they never found them, never knew what happened to them, so they have to report them missing. Yeah,
Still, 12 years later? Yeah, which is crazy. That would be so hard. As a family, that would be so hard. Yeah, but it was a crazy disaster. It was a really strong disaster. Like you said, we were young. We were 22, whatever it happened.
Yeah, 21, 22.
So I don't remember a lot of it, but I do remember hearing about it in the news and stuff. But Anyway, that's just like a little information on Tohoku and what they've been through, but they've already built up a lot now, and they're
that's good.
A main tourist area. Like that's like their big thing is like tourists and stuff like that.
What about the Fukushima? You know how like Chernobyl, like you can't visit Chernobyl. Can you visit? Like, can you be within a certain radius of Fukushima, or was it nearly? Was it as bad as Chernobyl?
I don't think it's as bad as Chernobyl, but they are.
That one's awful,
Yeah, they are still cleaning up after it. So, I mean, I would assume you can't get near it.
You have to wear, like,
hazmat suits.
Certain type of
or
suit.
It's not a hazmat even. It's
something to block radiation, if that even exists. I honestly don't know.
They have something like that, I'm sure.
Yeah. Get your Geiger counter out and see if it's... I'm sure it's, like, in the building is really high, but I don't know.
Yeah. But...
It's crazy.
It was sad, and also just shows you how powerful, like, our Earth can be, which is just... bonkers. I mean, it terraforms itself. Like
literally, yeah. It takes a long time, but it does.
It does. And we're in the way sometimes, unfortunately.
Yeah. Hence why there's so many craters on the moon, but not on Earth. There are on Earth, but not nearly as many visible to us now. A lot of them have been lost, I'm sure, over the years.
Yeah. From all of our geological
terraforming
activity. Yeah. All right. Did you have any more questions?
Nope, that's awesome though. Yeah. I mean, sad, but also awesome.
Yeah.
To learn about.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing it with me.
Of course.
Yeah.
And have a fantastic day.